Hi, welcome to this month's Facebook Live. And I am Ann from the Olive Scene. Becky is here. She's going to field any of your questions to me, so be sure to send them in if you have any questions about what we're doing. This month, we are going to feature our cinnamon pear aged balsamic vinegar in this sweetest of sweet potato recipes. I did this last year at Thanksgiving. It actually turned out to be just that I forgot to do the sweet potatoes, which take a little bit long time when we do the candied version. So I did this and it turned out so well. We're going to do it again this year. What's really nice about it is you can do part of it beforehand and put them in the oven at the last minute after the turkey is out so that everybody gets a nice warm sweet potato. And I would count on probably a half per person. Maybe a quarter, but a half. We went through a half per person because it was so good. Our cinnamon pear aged balsamic vinegar from Modena, Italy, wonderfully infused. The base of this is our traditionally aged balsamic vinegar, and then it's infused with this luscious cinnamon, nice and warmth to it, as well as some pear. Absolutely amazing. It also is great on oatmeal, just for the record. With this, I'm going to use our blood orange olive oil. It's a wonderful combination. It makes a great combination for a really hearty salad if you're doing something like with spinach or kale. But together, the two of them make just a wonderful sweet potato. So there's two ways to do this. One is to roast the sweet potato, but that takes a long time, obviously, over an hour just to roast the sweet potato. So we're going to do the shortened version where we're going to microwave the sweet potato and then finish it in the oven. It's great. So to start, just like with every other vinaigrette, I'm going to start by making, for this case, it's going to be the sauce that's going to go on this, or the drizzle. And like any vinaigrette, I start with the seasoning in the bowl. So a little bit of salt. And the salt actually brings out the sweetness in the sweet potato and the vinegar. And then a nice grind of pepper. And then if I was going to do 4 to 6 good-sized sweet potatoes. That's what I'm going to mix right now, though I'm only going to show one. So I have 3/4 of a cup of the blood orange olive oil.
And I pinned the recipe.
Thank you. The recipe is on, so you can follow along. I hope you have a sweet potato ready to go. And I have 3 to 4 tablespoons of the balsamic vinegar, depending on how sweet and bright you want that. I'm going to give this a nice whisking. And I'm going to set it aside while I start the rest of the sweet potato recipe. And you can see it emulsify up, nice and thick. Doesn't take much. We have these nice fresh flavors. Okay, the sweet potato. I'm waiting for the question, which usually comes when I talk about sweet potatoes. Is it a sweet potato or a yam? This is a sweet potato.
There it is. Somebody's asking what the difference is.
Okay. Sweet potatoes. They are the more tender version of that root vegetable. Yams are very, a little rougher. They're more on the carrot side, actually, than the sweet potato is. So those white, what we think of as yams, are probably sweet potatoes. The sweet potato, the yam, has a much thicker skin. It's almost got a hairiness to it. And they can grow up to 5 feet long. They're huge. Very tuberous. Sweet potato is much more tender flesh, thinner skin. The skin is really nice when you roast it. So don't think you need to peel these. So sweet potato is scrubbed and washed. I'm just going to pierce the skin with a fork and just rock the fork in, as I've seen my kids do, this, and then they get the back of their hand one time. That will stop you from doing that.
Okay.
So fork it around, all around. I then take olive oil, which I didn't leave some on here, so I'm going to put a little bit on there. Take some of the olive oil and rub the skin. I then put this in the microwave, and for a single sweet potato would be about 5 to 7 minutes. If you have 4 in there at once, a good 10 minutes. What you want to make sure is that the sweet potato is tender, but not all the way soft. You want to be able to cut into it easily, but you don't want it super soft because we're going to bake it a second time. We're going to roast it. Okay, so it's covered. It's going to go in the microwave. And lo and behold, out of the microwave came one. When you take it out of the microwave, it is going to be very hot. Use a paper towel or a mitt to take it out of the microwave because it will be extremely hot. I did this one earlier. So here's my stop-off point. Get them all microwaved. Have them sitting aside. Now it's time. The turkey is getting ready to come out of the oven. Stuffing is ready. Everything's ready to go. These are going to take an additional 10 to 15 minutes, which is perfect because you want your turkey to rest anyway before you carve it. So with this, I'm just going to cut this right in half. And you can see it is firm but tender. And I have both halves. Okay, I'm putting it on a tray. I have put parchment paper down. You can use foil if you'd like. And that's just so that if some of the balsamic vinegar comes off of the sweet potatoes, when it's in the oven at 425 degrees, it's going to caramelize pretty darn fast. So you don't want to have this big sticky pan. This makes it very easy. If I was doing a lot of them, obviously a bigger tray. So now I'm just going to score across both ways the sweet potato on both of them. Don't cut all the way to the bottom because this sweet potato, again, is still a little bit firm, and the oil and vinegar going into those cuts is going to help cook the sweet potato a little bit more. It's going to cook into it. It'll be really nice. We don't want it to run off of the sweet potato. That's it. So now our second step, grab a spoon, is to use the sauce that we've made on the sweet potato, and I am just going to cover it and allow it to get down into the little cuts that I've made. A good tablespoon of this on each one is perfect. The smell of the cinnamon pear with the blood orange is amazing. It's a great combination. That's it. Okay, so I had salt and pepper in the bowl, the oil and vinegar. I am going to do a nice little second grinding of pepper because it brings out the flavor of the sweet potatoes so wonderfully. This is going to go into a 425 degree oven for 10 minutes to 12 minutes. If you have more sweet potatoes, maybe a little bit longer. And it's going to finish cooking the sweet potato. It's going to caramelize, and it's going to be amazing. Just watch. And here it is. Done, roasted, and now that center section
Smells delicious.
that center section is nice and tender all the way through, and it's got this wonderful glaze from the sweet potato. I mean, sorry, from the oil and vinegar on it, and then just take them onto your serving dish. Take them out to your Thanksgiving dinner, and you're going to have this wonderful sweet potato roasted. It's still very sweet, but it's not candied the way the candied sweet potatoes are. So it's not as heavy. It tastes great. Try it for your Thanksgiving dinner. Let us know how you like it, and I hope you join us next month for our Facebook Live. Thanks for joining me.